A year of regret. It's been one whole year since I told my husband at a block party, "You're just the father of my kids, not my soulmate." Sounds like the setup to a bad joke, right? Except the joke's on me. Justin is engaged now. Her name is Ashley, and she's exactly the kind of woman I used to make fun of. The type who does CrossFit, meal preps, and actually enjoys farmers markets. But the worst part? She's genuinely nice, which somehow makes it even harder. The kids adore her. Last week, Emma came home excitedly talking about how Ashley taught her to braid her hair the cool way, like it was some groundbreaking skill I never cared to learn. That hurt more than I'd like to admit. Before I go further, if you enjoy stories about real-life drama, bad decisions, and emotional chaos you just can't look away from, hit that subscribe button. We share more stories like this, lessons learned the hard way, because sometimes you don't realize the value of something until it's gone. Looking back, Justin and I were married for 8 years. We weren't perfect, but we had a rhythm. Life was a checklist. Get married, buy a house, have kids, repeat. I thought that was enough, but at some point, I got restless. Not unhappy, just bored. And when boredom sets in, you start picking apart things that don't need fixing. His laugh was too loud. His jokes, too corny. His shirts, always slightly wrinkled. I convinced myself that he wasn't the one. Whatever that even means, after years of shared bank accounts and school drop-offs. The block party felt like any other. Neighbors pretending to like each other more than they actually did. Kids running around hyped up on lemonade and cotton candy. A few drinks in, I felt bold, surrounded by friends who nodded along to my complaints like they were words of wisdom. I don't even remember what led up to it, but I heard myself say, loud enough for Justin and half the block to hear, "He's just the father of my kids, not my soulmate." The words lingered in the air like smoke from a cheap grill. Justin didn't argue. He didn't even look hurt. He just gave me this empty look, nodded, and turned back to flipping burgers like I hadn't just shattered our marriage with a single sentence. I thought we'd laugh about it later. After all, we'd had worse fights. But we didn't. That night, he slept on the couch. The next night, too. A week later, he moved out. At first, I was defiant. Good riddance, I told myself. I'd finally get to rediscover who I was outside of being someone's wife. But the silence in the house got louder with each passing day. No more clinking of his coffee mug in the morning. No more dad jokes at dinner. Just me, the kids, and the echo of my own arrogance. Moving on. Too late. When Justin started dating Ashley, I didn't think much of it. It's just a rebound, I told myself. But then she stuck around. The kids liked her. Justin smiled differently around her. Lighter, freer, like he wasn't carrying the weight of my constant disappointment anymore. The first time I saw them together at the kids' soccer game, I wasn't prepared. She was sitting beside him, laughing at something he said. And it was a laugh that got me, not forced, not polite, but real. The kind of laugh I hadn't given him in years. I tried to pretend I didn't care. I dated a little myself, but nothing lasted. They weren't Justin. They didn't know how I like my coffee or that I snore when I drink too much wine. They didn't know the names of my childhood pets or that I cry during cheesy commercials. Justin knew all of that, and I threw it away because I thought I deserved some grand, sweeping romance. Turns out I had it all along. I was just too blind to see it. Facing the truth. The kids started slipping Ashley's name into conversations like it was normal. Ashley makes the best pancakes. Ashley helped me with my science project. I smiled through gritted teeth, nodding like it didn't bother me. But it did. It still does. Last week, Emma left her school folder at Justin's place. I volunteered to pick it up. When I arrived, Ashley answered the door with that same annoyingly perfect smile and invited me in. I almost declined, but curiosity and maybe a little self-punishment got the best of me. Their house felt warm, filled with the kind of comfort you can't fake. Family photos on the walls, kids' drawings on the fridge. It felt like home, the kind I used to have. I spotted Justin in the kitchen, laughing with our son over something on his phone. When he looked up and saw me, he just gave a polite nod. Nothing more. No anger. No sadness. Just a man who had moved on. On the drive home, the folder sat untouched on the passenger seat. At every red light, I found myself staring at it, feeling the full weight of my mistakes. I had tested his love, pushed him to the edge, and expected him to fight for me. But he didn't. He walked away. And the worst part, he was right to. Lesson learned. Now, a year later, I sit in the same house, surrounded by the same walls. But everything feels different. The silence is heavier, filled with echoes of words I can't take back. So if you've made it this far, here's my advice. Don't mistake comfort for complacency. Don't test someone's love just to see if it's real. Because sometimes they'll pass the test by walking away, and they won't look back. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. We share real-life lessons like this every day. Because sometimes hearing someone else's mistakes is the wake-up call we all need. Thank you for listening.